A very good morning to all. I welcome all the participants and today's resource person Ayatakshee madam for day 7 of 7-day program of capacity building and enhancement for students and teachers. Today's resource person is Ayatakshee madam. Now I request our colleague Dr. Basraj to give brief introduction about Ayatakshee madam. Now over to Basraj sir. Good morning everyone. Remembering Puja Dodappa Appaji and with the divine blessings of Shavanbasappa Appaji, I, Basaraj Narbadi, take pleasure in introducing today's speaker, Madam Ayatakshee Sarkar. Madam has 8 years of corporate experience in areas of learning and organization development. She is a sociology graduate with a diploma in training and development, batch 70. She started her career in L&OD with Hewlett Packard, India. She also holds a research degree, that is MPhil, from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai, in the area of social psychology. Currently, she is a doctoral student and a research fellow of the Indian Council of Social Sciences Research, New Delhi. She holds a licentiate of the World HR Board as Training and Development Specialist 2015-16, certified by Carlton Advanced Management Institute USA, funding organization Allstate India. She draws expertise from experience in the IT and manufacturing industry. So Madam has been working as earlier she worked as a senior training specialist at Allstate Solution Private Limited, Bengaluru, a global in-house center for Allstate Corporation, US. Reported remotely to Global Head Knowledge Management, Chicago, US. So Madam has published many national and international papers in international and national journals. She has received many awards. So this was a brief introduction about Madam Ayatakshee Sarkar. I welcome you and thank you, ma'am. So over to Ayatakshee, ma'am.
Thank you, Basavaraj. That was quite a lot of introduction to weigh me down. So thank you very much, and thank you for being my savior of putting the technical aspect in place. So thank you so much. So I'll start the session now. So good morning, all of you. Good morning, my friends. So this is the seventh day and the last day of the capacity building and skill enhancement training.
Madam, excuse me, madam.
Yes.
Your face is not looking properly. Just either you go front or you bring the hand. Okay, now it is visible. Madam.
Okay, is it visible now?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Continue, ma'am.
Okay, all right. I hope I was audible.
Yes, of course, madam.
Okay. So I'm technically little challenged. So friends, please bear with me. All right. So yes. So welcome to the seventh day and the last day of the capacity building and skill enhancement training. I'm sure the last 6 days was quite enlightening for all of you. So as you know, the purpose of this training is mainly to build your resources, to enhance your interpersonal skills, as well as to improve your cognitive ability. So I would not get into the what and why of the communication skill training. I'm sure my earlier colleagues have already already covered those topics. So I will just get into the 9 common mistakes that we normally make in communication skill training, which I'm going to share from my own personal experiences. So I hope I will be able to share knowledge with all of you and make this session very interactive. So let's get started. And yes, one more thing. So in case any of you, have any question, you can just hold it for the end of the session to get over. Later on, I'll take the questions and I'll ensure that it gets answered for all of you. So yes, let's get started. So for today, these are the objectives that I will cover. The 9 common communication mistakes, which I'll share from my own experiences. Then I will talk about the career skills, how you would make a right choice in your career based on your personality, based on your values, and based on your motivation. And then I'm going to talk about the core self-evaluation, like how would you evaluate yourself in order to make the right career choices. So these are the learning outcomes at the end of the session. I'm sure you all will be, rather we all will be aware of the communication blunders and misunderstandings, and we also be able to choose the right career based on our personality. So yes, this is the very important part. So what I'm going to give all of you from this training and are the course self-evaluation worksheet. So all of you will get a hard copy of the worksheet, which you can use at any point of your life's career, in your professional life or in your personal life. This will help you to enhance yourself. And of course, a Holland Code career test, which is a psychometric test. And lastly, you can assess your communication skills by visiting the link that is given below. So not to worry, I'm going to share these at the end of the session with all of you. So let's get started. So, so these mistakes that I'm going to share with you, it may sound to be very trivial and very, very commonsensical, but trust me, when we actually communicate, when we actually, try to communicate with others, we quite often make these mistakes and we don't realize. So the first thing that we often do is that we don't edit our work. Yes, you have heard it right. We don't edit our work. So many a times when you send your emails, we don't double check, or in terms of writing a research project or writing a course evaluation or a course report, we don't really double check. So it is very essential that before we send the email or before we finish the research report or before we complete the course evaluation, it is always necessary that we double check our work. And what we need to check? We need to check the spelling, we need to check the tone of the email, we need to check if there are any grammatical errors, because you may feel that these are very trivial, but trust me, people who are receiving your email or people who are reading your report, when they see that there are errors in your work, they may perceive you to be a very careless person, and this may put your reputation down in your work life, in your professional life, or even in your personal life. So it is very essential that you check your email, you double check, and especially in spelling, tone, and grammatical mistakes. So one tip that I'm going to share with all of you, that we have a habit of, just switching on the spell checker. But trust me, spell checkers sometimes don't work. I'll give you an instance. For example, if you are, working with an American client, but your Microsoft Word is devised in such a way that it will accept only the British English, then the Americans will perceive it to be a wrong spelling. So it is always that you pick up the dictionary and then you see the right and the accurate spelling. I know it is time consuming, but in the end, it will help you a lot. Moving on to the next mistake. So this is another thing that I have seen in my corporate life, where people are very casual in delivering bad news, especially when they have to give a pink slip to someone. They are so casual that they simply type an email and they say that you are asked to leave the organization. I would say this is a very bad way and unethical way of delivering your message. It is always good that you call the person to a meeting room, you have a face to face communication with that person, you understand the person's emotion, and then you deliver the news to the person. So do not deliver any bad news by email. Yes, this is another mistake that I quite often see is avoiding difficult conversations. So I'll give you an instance. In your work teams, you may come across a person who is behaving in a very incivil manner, or sometime, is not behaving appropriate. So as a team manager, we quite often avoid, those instances. We quite often avoid the behavior of those people, thinking that, okay, it is until unless it is not harming me, how does it matter? But trust me, this is going to pile up, and then later on, it will have a very adverse effect in your productivity. So it is always better that when you encounter a difficult situation, when you encounter an incivil behavior, it is always better to put across, to communicate it to the person, not in a negative way, but giving a constructive feedback to the person. If you want to know how to give a constructive feedback, I think we can organize sessions later on, and I will share my knowledge on how to give a constructive feedback. Okay, so moving on to the next mistake, and that is not being assertive. Yes, you heard it right. Sometimes we are either very passive or very aggressive, and this is actually counterproductive. This communication style is very counterproductive. We need to be assertive. When I say assertive, I remember the famous quotation by Mahatma Gandhi, who said that you need to be softer in your tone, but do not forget to carry the long stick, because you do not know when that stick will come to use. So assertiveness actually pays you very positively. It is about stating what you need without ignoring the need of others. And always learn to say a polite no when you have to say no. If you're too aggressive, then it may lead to a very conflict situation. At the same time, if you are too passive in workplace, you may be burdened with a lot of work. So it is always better that you are somewhere in the midway and be assertive. Yes, this is another common mistake which we quite often make, is that we react to the situation without responding. I'm sure my colleague has covered on the difference between listening and hearing. So I would say listening is something that actually you can make use of that skill in any conflict situation. If you are frustrated with your colleague, if you're frustrated with your spouse, if you're frustrated with your friend, I would suggest that you first listen to the person, what the person has to say, rather than hearing and rather than waiting to respond. So it's always better that you listen and then you respond. To know how to manage your emotions in any conflict situations, to know how to practice empathetic listening, I would suggest to attend my session in the future. Yes, this is another mistake that we make, is we do not prepare thoroughly. Trust me, for this session that I had today, I was preparing for the last 1 week, bit by bit, but I was preparing myself. We have a habit of taking things for granted. We feel that we have got too many things too soon, and hence we take things for granted, and hence we do not prepare. Be it college assignments, be it your student evaluation, be it be it for interview. It is always better that you prepare thoroughly because you never know what situation you may encounter. So I request all of you to prepare thoroughly. And one tip that I can share with all of you is do a thorough rehearsal before you finally present. And trust me, that actually helps a lot. Yes. So, using a one size fits all approach to communication, when we communicate, we do not consider the difference in ethnicity, the difference in language, the difference in gender, and many other differences. And we perceive that everyone will understand my language, but in real life, it is not that. We need to communicate based on the personality of the person, based on the learning style of the person. We need to communicate. And what happens if we do not do that? If we actually present a one size fits approach for all of them, then what happens? I am not understood. My communication is also sometimes misunderstood, misrepresented at workplace, and that can lead to a lot of disharmony and conflict. So so what we can do is, when we communicate, or when, for example, when we have to draft an email, it is always better that we consider the learning style of the person, we consider the personality of the person, we consider the background of the person. So learning styles itself is another topic, and unfortunately, I cannot cover it because of the time limit that I have. But I will be happy to share my knowledge with all of you in case if you want to know more about the learning styles in my future session. Yes, assuming that your message has been understood. So when we start communicating with the person, we always have this assumption that the other person will any which way understand me. But in reality, it is not that. People do not understand until and unless you make them realize. So, what can you do in order to ensure that you are heard or you are understood? You can ask them questions. Example, if you're taking a class, if you want to know whether your students have understood what you have taught, it is always better that you ask them questions. You ask them questions as in how, why, or what of whatever subject that you have taught. This actually helps them to reflect and understand the subject matter that you have delivered in the class. This is very interesting, I would say, because especially in India, I have seen that people do not respect the privacy of others. I have seen in my work life when I used to draft a very confidential email, and if my colleague wanted to come and talk to me, he or she would just stand behind me without realizing that I am drafting a confidential email. And at times I had to be rude enough and tell that, please go away. But trust me, sometimes it actually doesn't, feel nice or it used to feel nice on my part, because uh, it used to sound very rude when I used to tell people that please go away. So protecting one's privacy is very important. And here, what assertiveness will come into the picture. So if you are drafting a very confidential email and if somebody is standing behind you, you can always say a polite no, and you can just politely tell the person that you are drafting a confidential email, so please go away, I will get back to you later. So this is something we can always do. And also I'll share one more instance where uh, if you are writing an email which has again a confidential information, a very sensitive message, but you are not sure of the recipient. So by mistake, instead of sending to recipient A, you have actually sent it to the recipient B, then it can have adverse effect. So again, going back to mistake one, it is always necessary that you double check your work, double check your email before you send it across to the person. Otherwise, it can have an adverse effect. So I hope I am clear with the mistakes, and if you are clear, then we can move on to the next topic. Or else, if you have any questions, then I would request you to please write it down and hold later on. I will address all of your questions. Yes, so this is the second topic for today's session, and I'm sure you all must be, very excited to know about this. I mean, though we are, whether we are established professors or, students or established professionals, but still in our life, we come across a stage where we do not know what to do next, where we are not happy with what we are doing in the moment. And the main reason behind it is that we haven't done our homework in evaluating our strengths, evaluating our weaknesses, evaluating our opportunities, and evaluating the challenges that we can face. And quite often, we get into a career where we think that it is socially desirable, right? And then when we reach, when we reach a midlife, and then we go through the crisis, that we have actually not done justice to ourselves. So it is always better that you evaluate yourself before you choose your career. But not to worry, even if you are in the mid life of your career, you can still go through the Holland's psychometric test, and you can analyze yourselves, and then you can choose the right career for yourself. It is never too late. Trust me, after I served 8 years in corporate, I decided that corporate is not the place for me. And then I choose academia, and I'm very happy in my research. So it is never too late. So moving on to Holland's codes. So yes, Holland code was named after a psychologist, Dr. John Holland. And it is a way of classifying people according to their interest so that they can be matched with appropriate careers. So this is again a very practical approach. You see, uh, this particular test would ensure that your career is matched with your own interest. So this is a very handy tool. So how can I use Holland's code to choose the right career? Yes. So what you need to do is, of course, I will share the psychometric assessment with all of you in the end. But in today's presentation, because of the time limit, I will just show you how it looks and how you can navigate into the training, and how you can actually maneuver and choose the right career for yourself. And of course, I will be reachable. I will share my email address with all of you in case if you all face any issue in understanding your profile, or if you need any coaching, you can definitely get in touch with me. So okay, so So as I said, that Holland's code is basically to deal with your career, aligning your career with your interest. So how does it look? So just to give you a brief on the 6 interest areas. So the interest areas are mainly classified into building, thinking, creating, helping, persuading, and organizing. So when I say building, it normally describes a person who likes to use tools, machines, or physical skills, like working with hands. So can any one of you relate to what kind of profession will the person choose? Yes, that's right. It's mainly engineer. Yes, the engineers normally like working with tools, machines, and physical skills. And according to Holland Code, they are labeled as realistic. The next is thinking. So thinking are the kind of people who loves to do research, theory building, and people who are in academia. And according to Holland Code, they are labeled as investigative. So I can call myself as an investigator and a thinking person. And I'm sure many of you who are there in my class today can relate to this second category of Holland's code. The third is it's creating. Yes. So creating involves people who loves to get involved with art, music, language, and any kind of self-expression, be it dancing, be it theater, any kind of self-expression. And the person are, of course, artistic. I have something to add here. I would say that, the third category, we all fit into the third category, either at low intensity or high intensity. But trust me, we all, I feel, fit into the third category. Please correct me if I'm wrong. The fourth is helping. So helping are people, say, I can just remember of social entrepreneurs. So social entrepreneurs are people who are normally, they like to assist, they like to get involved in social work. They like to help people, and their characteristics are mainly very benevolent, they are very generous, and they are very empathetic. So people belonging to this category, according to Holland Code, they are termed as social, and mostly they are social entrepreneurs. The fifth one is persuading, and yes, so persuading are people who like to lead, who like to motivate, and who like to influence others. So I would just like to say that when I was going through this aspect of persuading, and when I was actually coaching one of my colleague last time, I was telling him that you are just in the wrong job. You should just go to sales and marketing, because he was a person who was a very persuading in nature, very motivating, and sometimes I used to tell him that very manipulating also. So, and then trust me, after a few years he has actually changed his profession, and now he has become a sales engineer. So you see the effect of Holland Code and how it changes people's lives. The last one is organizing. So organizing are the kind of people who loves to manage data, who loves to process, who loves to acquire information and then process the information. I would say people who are mostly into data analytics, people who are mostly into a very regular conventional job, those people will fit into this criteria of organizing. And also to certain extent, people who are into administrative work, they also fit into this category. So yes, I'll just drink water before I proceed. I think I have given you enough information, and just take some time to introspect what I have said. And of course, nothing to worry, because in the end, I will share with all of you the psychometric tool, which will actually help you to identify your interest area and also to choose your career appropriately. So till the time I drink water, please take some breather, and then let's move to the next topic. Okay, so yes, so this is something. This is a gift that I'm going to give to all of you. As I said, Holland Code Career Test, and I would like to hear from all of you. I mean, do not think that our relationship will end after this session. I would like to get a feedback on the psychometric test, and I would like to help all of you who approach me with regards to the test that you have taken, and I will ensure how I can coach all of you with regards to choosing the right and appropriate career. And trust me, because I have faced this dilemma in my own life, and hence I would like to share with all of you. Okay, so moving on to the next topic. So this is again a very important session. I mean, sorry, this is again a very important topic which will actually empower all of you to actually take the psychometric test well and then choose the right career path. So this is about core self-evaluation. So when I say self-evaluation, it is basically mean how do you introspect yourself in terms of your strengths, in terms of your weaknesses, in terms of your opportunities, and in terms of your challenges. So based once you are aware of the of yourself, then you can actually make the right career choice. So this is again a very important session to empower each one of you. And again, I would like to repeat myself, please do not get disheartened, and please do not think that you are too late in your career, because trust me, I have known many people who have just started their, who have just started realizing their passion even at the age of 50. So please do not get disheartened. So yes, just a second, I will just minimize this screen, which is actually creating hindrance. Okay. So yes, core self-evaluation are instinctive judgments that we all make about ourselves and our lives. It has a direct impact on how well we do at work and how we feel about our work. They can also give us a more accurate picture of ourselves so that we play to our strengths. So quite often what we do is we are engrossed in fixing our weaknesses. We are engrossed in fixing, what is not right. But trust me, it actually wastes a lot of your time. Instead, what you can do is you can leverage on your strengths, as Tom Robbins' book, as it rightly categorizes some 50 strengths a human being can have. I would suggest all of you to read that book so that you can identify your strengths, and I'm sure that you will fall into any of those categories. So again, people who are high in core self-evaluation are less neurotic. They can better manage their work. They can manage their emotions at workplace, as well as in their personal life, and of course, it then boosts their performances. So now I will get into the four dimensions of core self-evaluations. But before I move on to the four dimensions of core self-evaluation, I would like to say that though this part may sound a little bookish or little theoretical, but this is just to give you a little bit of information so that it helps you to take the psychometric test that I have discussed in my previous module. So just bear with me and let's learn the four dimensions of core self-evaluations together. So yes, so the first of the four dimension of core self-evaluation is locus of control, external versus internal. So what do you mean by locus of control? So sometimes when, okay, I am not visible to myself, so let me just adjust. All right. So when I say locus of control, so have you heard about calling, someone calling you as introvert or someone calling you as extrovert? So what do you mean by that? So when you say that I am an introvert person, it normally means that you draw your energy from inside. So which means your locus of control is inside. When I say that I am an extrovert, it means that my locus of control is outside, and it means that I draw energy from outside. And again, it is nothing bad to be there's nothing bad to be an extrovert or an introvert. It is just a personality trait. So if your parents or if your coworker or if your boss or if your spouse or if your friends tell you that you are an introvert person, so which means you're bad, but trust me, it is not like that. It is just how you draw your energy to communicate with the external world. So this is about the locus of control. So yes, let me tell you one more thing. If you are an internally directed, if you draw your energy from inside, then it is perceived that you are more creative or you are more academically oriented. So I'm sure many of you who are there in my session today can relate to this, because I assume most of my friends who are attending today's session are into the teaching profession and some are students. So most of you all draw your energy from inside, like me, and can relate to this aspect of the core self-evaluation. Yes, this is again very important. So have you ever heard people calling you to be neurotic, or a person who is categorized as neurotic or an eccentric? So it is nothing to do with what we hear about neurotic or eccentric in the real world. Rather, neuroticism is something like how you manage or control your unwanted emotions, right? So when I say unwanted emotions, I mean the emotions that are counterproductive. For example, anxiety, anger, frustration, depression, these are counterproductive emotions. And a person who is high on neurotic are definitely counterproductive, are definitely not the best suitor in the workplace. So it is always better that we learn how to manage emotions at workplace so that we are productive, we are efficient, and hence we can balance our entire self. So to know more about how to manage emotions at workplace, I would be happy to share my learnings and my knowledge with all of you in any future sessions that I conduct. Self-efficacy. So this is again a very favorite dimension, and this is part of my research work and MPhil and my MPhil work. And fortunately, I'm blessed to get one of the work published in a journal because of self-efficacy. So you can understand how important this construct is. So self-efficacy is about how confident you feel in a variety of situations, no matter what your personal life, what you're dealing with your personal life, or what your current emotions are. It is always better that you know how to deal with them. It is always better how you know how to manage with them, so that you are adaptive, you are more flexible, and you are more resilient. So this is about the self-efficacy. And then lastly is self-esteem. So yes, I'm sure that we all can relate to self-esteem. You all must have heard about this construct very often in your life, and the only thing I remember about the self-esteem is, when I mean, we all have heartbreaks in our life. I'm sure we all had at one point in time, and we end up either biting our nails, or we end up getting depressed. So a person with a high self-esteem, rather than blaming their own self, the person will say, oh, how poor the chap is for leaving me. I'm sure that person must be miserable for leaving me. So, but on the contrary, a person with a very low self-esteem would feel otherwise. So, so self-esteem, in short, means having a very positive outlook about yourself, coping well with setbacks, and expecting high standards with yourselves as well as with others. So again, I have a gift for all of you, and this is the core self-evaluation worksheet, and I want each of you to seriously, to seriously do this exercise, and go through your own evaluation, go through your own strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, as well as challenges, so that you can better align yourself into the Holland 6 codes and make a wise decision for your career. And yes, one more point that I want to add. In the end of the session, I will share my email address, as I said. And in case you face any issue in taking the test, you can get in touch with me, and I will be happy to assist all of you. Okay, so I have come to the end of the session, and I hope that the session was informative for all of you. And in case if you have questions, now I open to all of you to ask me questions, and I will be happy to answer them. And since I am technically challenged, so please bear with me. Friends, I am just trying to minimize the window, and I'm just trying to, get back to Basavaraj. Hi, Basavaraj. Hello.
Ma'am, at the left top corner, there's a stop sharing option. You can just click on it. It will stop sharing.
Okay, okay, okay. All right.
Yeah,
So I have
done, ma'am.
stopped sharing, and now I want people to ask me questions. So, so yes. So do you all have any questions for me? Any questions?
They can unmute on the mute us. ಯಾರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ.
Okay. Basavaraj, could you please moderate and ask if any one of them has any questions?
I request the participant, if you have any question, please raise the questions.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Continue.
Question is just in the first slides she explained about that accidental things that happens for mailing and all that. If suppose that had happened accidentally, then what causes that person faces in future? Regarding that, if suppose that mail is not revised once again, any of that that things that creates a social problem and all that by accidentally we posted, what causes we face later, or what impact we have on that mail or something? Is there any that type kind of things we can face in future?
Okay, ma'am, okay, Saida, right? Your name is Saida?
Sayyida Rafat Ara.
Hi, hi. Would you please type the question, because it is raining here in my hometown and and your voice is echoing. So if you can just type, that would help me a lot. And I will repeat the answer.
Okay, madam. Sure. I'll type in subject.
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
madam.
Okay, I got one question from Komal Mahajan. So Komal, your question is, suppose you change your career. Very, very interesting question, where Komal says that if you change your career, and how do you put it across to your interviewer, right? So what you can do is, see, there is no harm in changing your career. Like I said, I have changed my career from corporate to academia. Both are completely different. So before I changed my career, I believed that, none of the experiences goes for waste. So I'm sure whatever experiences you have gathered in whatever career you were previously, I'm sure if you can integrate those experiences with your current career, it can really be very beneficial to the current job that you wish to pursue. So you can always link your past learnings, your past experiences, to what will be your future career that you undertake. Have I answered? Okay, so we will move to the next question. Okay, so Ruchika says, how can we access ourselves? Okay, I think assess. Okay, how can we assess ourselves and how we get result? So Ruchika, as I said, I will be sharing the psychometric test, as well as I will be sharing the self evaluation form with all of you. And though it is quite self-explanatory, in case if you have any issues, then kindly reach out to me. I will share my email address with all of you. Okay. Okay. So could you please repeat the name of the author who has suggested 50 strengths? Okay, it is Tom Robbins. I will again share it with the principal. I will share the picture of the book and the name of the author again. Any more questions?
Okay, it seems the question answer session is almost over. If there are any queries, the participants can send their queries to the chat box. And Madam Sarkar, thank you very much for being with us and delivering your presentation. Perhaps by this time, all the participants must have been be happy rather, because you have answered all the queries very efficiently and eminently. And now, as it is customary, we are going to conduct a short valedictory function. Our Honorable Registrar, Dr. Anil Kumar Bidwe, is with us, and he will address you for 5 minutes. Then there will be presidential remarks for 2 minutes. Then the session will end up just in 5 to 7 minutes. With these remarks, I now request our Honorable Registrar Sir, Dr. Anil Kumar Bidwe, to address the gathering.
Thank you, sir. It gives me an immense pleasure to be on this platform on the concluding day of this great event. I appreciate the efforts put in by Dr. S.D. Dolegowda ji, Principal of St. Basil's College of Science, and also Honorary Dean of Faculty of Languages of St. Basil University. I am proud as this event is being hosted jointly by St. Basil University and St. Basil College of Science. I appreciate the efforts of all the speakers. There are a lot of scholarly people have been invited for these deliberations, including Ms. Sarkar, who is available in front of me. I'm lucky to listen her today. Thank you, ma'am, for your, powerful speech and interactions too. I appreciate the kind of scholars who are deliberated through this particular platform, which includes experts from Pune, Davangere, even experts from Bangalore, experts from New Delhi like Sarkar and others. I've been told that hundreds of teachers across India have been benefited by this particular event. It is a well-known fact that we are in a pandemic which is not going to leave us for another 6 more months, or maybe we may have to spend the whole year. I'm of the opinion that such events will become part of the teaching and learning in the higher learning institutions, as the government of India, through the Ministry of Human Research and the UGC, are of the opinion that the concepts like blended learning, which are the new concept coming out of the pandemic world currently what we are facing. Blended learning includes the regular classroom teaching plus the online teaching learning. And the policymakers are of the opinion that 20 to 40% of the teaching and learning in future must take place in the online mode, so that we'll be able to face such challenges in the future. I appreciate the decision makers, and I'm thankful for the UGC and the MHRD for coming with such bold decisions. Even they are of the opinion that 100 top universities in India must be given full freedom to start complete online degree programs. For the first time, India is looking forward such beautiful opportunities, which the opportunities, there are challenges also, of course. Such deliberations of involving experts on these digital platforms will find out, or will provoke us to think of what will the challenges which we face when we are taking up online education in this nation with 1.3 billion people. I hope many people will be finding beautiful opportunities to go for double degree programs while performing one full time in a regular mode. People in their interested fields can go for online degrees as parallel degree courses along with their regular one in the core area and in other interested area. So without taxing much time, I feel that all the teachers and the experts, those who are involved in these interactions on this digital platform, must have enjoyed their tenure, their time, what they have spent. They might be feeling that they have been benefited by this. At the end, I am thankful for all the participants and the experts who are sparing their valuable time to create a healthy environment of academic interactions on this platform from last few days. Finally, I'm thankful for Sandwich College of Science, the entire team headed by Dr. S.D. Dolegowdaji, for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to speak few words. And I'm fortunate to listen few words from others also today, particularly from Ms. Sarkar. And thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful interaction. With this, let me conclude, and I wish all the very best for all the participants and the speakers for their future endeavors on the digital platform. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Uh, Madam Sarkar, today is your day, and since you happen to be a student of psychology, and perhaps you have a chance to make reference to psychometrics, sociometrics, because these are the metrics which are being used nowadays to assess the personality of the individuals. And you also promised us that you would like to conduct one more session exclusively for such activities for our faculty. And it's my pleasure to invite you again in the days to come. And for the last 7 days, as our Honorable Registrar Sir has said, the Channabasava University, which is a private university in this part of Karnataka, and Channabasava College of Science, which is 60 plus years old, have jointly organized this program to benefit the teachers and teacher community across the country. And the same, see, we have already uploaded the recordings, the proceedings to the YouTube, and this program is also live on Facebook. Obviously, what we're planning, we are going to utilize your resources in the coming days for the benefit of our students. All the students of our college will be having dedicated specific timing for the interactive session of all these lectures that we have recorded. And perhaps we may, if possible, whatever queries the students wish to seek from you, and we'll send through mail, and you can clarify their queries. And today, I don't want to go in detail because it is already 11:30, and we have tried our best for all the 7 days to maintain time from 11:30 means 11:30, 12:30 means 12:30. Sometimes it has gone beyond it. As our Honorable Sir was making a reference to online teaching, and this is for the first time a 7-day program has been organized jointly, that too online. Hereafter, I think this is going to be the order of the day. Of course, Sir has made it very clear that the UGC and AICT and other bodies, statutory bodies, are planning to introduce at least 20% component of it online. But God alone knows whether, as he said, 100 universities can go ahead to start their programs exclusively online. But tomorrow at 4:30, there is one uh, panel discussion in which I am also going to take part. It's at 4:30 p.m. and we can share the link. I will share the link very soon, or else I will send it to your emails. One professor from Jammu Kashmir is joining. Two professors are joining from Maharashtra. Myself from Karnataka. It has been organized by the 13th chapter of Maharashtra, and it is 13th in the series also. It has been organized by English Language Teachers Association of India. And this is for your information. If anybody wish to join, you are most welcome. And with these few words, I express my deep sense of gratitude to Rajdeep, who introduced you to me. And yesterday it was his session. It was really quite beneficial and most useful also for all of us, and so also today. And I don't want to forget all the experts who took part in the deliberations, be it Professor Sagar, be it Shushma Patil, be it Mrs. Das or Mr. Khandelwal from Pune, and Mr. Rajli from Delhi, yourself from, I think now, right now you are in Siliguri, here at Bombay earlier, and wherever we are, see, irrespective of our boundaries, the time zone, we have been able to come together and do something for the higher education. I think I don't want to take much of your time. And with these few words, I thank you as well as all the participants for a wonderful spirit for the last 7 days. Thank you very much. With these words, we end up this meeting.
Sir, 1 minute. I'll just share my email ID with all of them. I cannot share my email ID.
Of course, ma'am, you can share. Okay, thank you everyone. So we will be sharing the feedback link shortly. So I will be sending that to our email, registered email IDs. You can fill it and send us back. So thereafter, we will be sending an e-certificate. You can download it. Thank you. So over to Sarkar ma'am.
Yeah, Baswaraj, I again need your help. I'm not able to navigate my to the screen. Could you just share my email ID with everyone? My pointer has stopped
Ma'am,
working.
I will share
Mouse
it, ma'am. I will
pointer.
send them email. I will send them
Okay,
by
great,
email.
great.
Okay.
Great. I will also share with all of them that I have promised the assessment sheet and the psychometric test. So
Okay.
those I will share with you. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, you mail it to me,
Yeah.
ma'am. I will forward.
Sure. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Thanks to everyone. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.